absolutely turn in businesses like that. If I thought that there was, human trafficking of some sort or whatever, I mean, that's something that's different though. But if people, if therapists have a problem with anything, they should have a problem with human trafficking. And then if they think that there is that, if that's going on, if they see any signs that would lead them to believe that, they need to say something and turn that in. But I mean, really, that's like, again, if they really had a problem with something, let it be that.
Well, no, it's not like I'm in promotion of human trafficking.
Of course,
I don't know where it's going on. Because I don't go to these places and I have no idea.
Some places it's pretty blatantly obvious, though. It's a little, I mean, it just depends.
Dude, there's stuff like in Houston, I'm told, and the thing is, it's not like I'm going out to Houston regularly and getting work, but what I'm told is in Houston, there are facilities that do Thai massage. Yeah. It gets personal, right? But the thing is, they've got an establishment license. Mm-hmm. They've got one licensed therapist on duty, and they've got 5 of their cousins working there. Yep. And when the inspector comes in, it's like, oh, no, we're not doing massage, we're cleaning. Right.
Well, it also depends on, again, how they word it. If they say they're doing Thai body work, or if they're saying they do like whatever, whatever the word is.
The body work thing, I'm not sure. I would like to hear some more research on that because,
I said we go to Google. We have to Google it.
Ooh. No, anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, they can say, Thai, what do they call it? Thai yoga. They'll say they do Thai yoga, or they say they do Thai something else. Yeah. So some of them, if they say, well, if we're not saying that we do massage, then we don't get busted. Yeah. But I mean, that's what they use in almost all of their advertising.
Well, see, the real problem that I have with that is my understanding of regulation, and we just moved over to TDLR. Mm-hmm. Now, please, if you are watching from TDLR, just ignore me. Don't listen to me because I don't want you coming and like causing me problems or removing my license. But the whole thing is, it's like, are we regulating a word or are we regulating what people actually do? Yeah. Because the license says manipulation of soft tissue. Yeah. And when I have conversations, I get angry very quickly because I'm like, listen, you're not enforcing the law as it's written. Right. And it's like, I follow the rules. I have 3 licenses in Texas alone. Mm-hmm. Somebody in New York today on the group was like, hey, you're going to come teach in New York? And I'm like, no. Right. Why would I go into your state? Your state has the harshest laws of any state in the United States other than Florida. Yeah. That does not allow me to go in and teach what I do. Now, I don't think the rules of biology and kinesiology change when I cross an imaginary border. Right. But the thing is to prevent competition, and it's to prevent people like me coming in and teaching. So the thing is, it gets to this weird spot where it's like, okay, if you need a license to manipulate soft tissue, do you need a license as a cuddle therapist?
That's a whole nother...
And they're like, that's not the same. I'm like, manipulate soft tissue. Right. Yoga teachers, hands-on adjustment, manipulate soft tissue. And it's like, you're talking out of your ass. It's like, either it's illegal or it's not. Yeah. And if there's no enforcement, well, then fuck the laws altogether. I'm tired of paying for 3 licenses that don't enforce anything.
Right. Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely an issue. Every time we have applied for an establishment license, because we actually have to apply for a license every time we move. And with those 7 times in 7 years... You
don't just get the same license transferred?
No. Absolutely not. You have to reapply. It's another $350 plus or whatever, and no, every time you move, it's another time.
I'm sure you feel warm and fuzzy every time you write that check.
God. Yeah, and that's. Everyone asks me, have you ever had an inspector come to your place? Absolutely not. And, we've been a licensed establishment, and you provide a floor plan.
Fire marshal's
the fire marshal's got to come out. You have to show where all your tables are, where your doors are, all that. And it's like, has anybody ever come to check it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But yeah, no, can't transfer. And even if you buy another business, their license can't transfer. You have to reapply for another one, even if you're at the same address.
See, the thing is, I would like laws to be in place to be able to prevent human trafficking as much as possible. Yeah. But it annoys me that it butts up with our industry. Yeah. And then here's the problem I have. I'm essentially teaching a bodywork skill that I cannot get massage therapists to pick up fast enough. Yeah. Every week I get a phone call, yoga teacher, Pilates instructor, CrossFitter, all these people from a personal trainer, all these other industries, and basically they want me to teach them what I'm doing. Yeah. Now, I have a vested financial interest in just doing the training and saying, listen, you're supposed to have a license. Right. But at the same time, the more of those people I train, massage therapists don't want to do what I teach because they don't think they own it. That they can exclusively practice what's going on. The marketing challenges I have right now, I have people behind the scenes telling me to turn on Facebook ads and market to the yoga community.
That's interesting.
And shove and the thing is, if I call it Thai yoga, no laws in any state in the U.S.
But if they don't have such a huge issue with all of these other businesses, well, you said that some people do have a problem with it, with all these foot massage places that they say that
massage therapists do. The public does not.
Yeah, but if you have therapists, like, why do they have a problem with learning the Thai bodywork?
Because I had a class a couple years ago in Dallas, and there were 3 yoga teachers and 5 massage therapists, and they literally got into a verbal altercation in my class. I had to stand in the middle of these assholes and go, listen, I'm a massage therapist, I'm a yoga teacher. You can go fuck yourself, and you can go fuck yourself. Because even what the law says, it's not enforced. It's like I can teach anybody I want to teach, and there is no law that prevents that.
Yeah.
What you do with it after the fact has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
It's like I run a subscription service now because I have to cross state lines into New York to be able to give people information because I can't do anything from my garage. They have to come get a session.
Yeah.
The sessions are 3 hours long, include a suspension system, abdominal work, all this stuff. And it's like, it doesn't fit really what people think of as massage or yoga. It's like this hybrid. And the thing is, it's like if I go teach it to the yoga community, the massage therapists don't want it.
Yeah, I can see that. But I don't know. I think it just depends on the therapist. And like what you were talking about earlier, just kind of bringing that back around. You asked, what does it look like in 10 years? Like how different does massage look now than it did 10 years ago? How different will it look in 10 years from now? So if therapists are maybe resistant to it now, it takes time to get them to maybe see that. But it's not just the therapist, I don't think. I think it also has a lot to do with how the therapists see themselves and how they also think, they perceive that the public sees them. Because if they don't feel like the public takes them seriously and their body work seriously and their knowledge and their training seriously, then maybe they're not as invested in it. But if, hopefully even 3, 4, 5 years from now, if the state of Texas can recognize and allow therapists to even say, for insurance, if we're able to charge insurance on our own without working underneath a doctor or a chiropractor or a physical therapist.
So you want insurance?
Yeah, that's another topic. Yeah, absolutely.
Because we're about to spar. It's about to go down.
Well, but there's a lot in that. But if people, because I think that's part of what the beef is that I hear with therapists, is that they don't feel like they're respected enough to, why aren't we recognized by insurance? But the thing is, in the state of Texas, and this is in every state, well, chiropractors can hire unlicensed people to do massage. But so you can have Joe Blow off the street go and do a massage for someone, and the chiropractor is going to be able to pay him $15 an hour to do a massage. But if a real, licensed massage therapist wanted to do massage for someone that had a script or had a referral for sessions, they can only do it in certain instances. Like, for instance, I can do it for car accidents and I can bill an insurance company directly. Yeah. But health insurance, absolutely not. And so why can a chiropractor employ someone that's unlicensed, but we can't do it on our own as licensed entities?
I'll tell you why. More money and better lobbyists.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, granted, I'm glad that there's a loophole, at least for the auto stuff, honestly. I mean, that's one thing, that we're able to do, but it's not without its challenges, that's for sure.
Well, because you have to submit more paperwork, right?
Sometimes. It just depends. Sometimes it's kind of laughably easy, but other times, we've had to jump through tons of hoops. Yeah. So it just depends. But insurance, if you want to go down that road, another conversation, we can do that.
The last place I worked was for a chiropractor. I was there 5 years. You could slowly see that the insurance companies weren't paying. They were making it more and more difficult every year. Yep. They were paying less. It was putting pressure on the business. And then finally, the person I used to work for called me in and said, how do we get more cash clients? Yeah. And I had to sit down and have a conversation with him and go, listen, you have to offer something different. There are 3 other massage facilities within a 5-mile radius of this place. Yeah. Why are they coming to you? Yeah. And that was the extent of the business conversation, because a massage to a consumer, a massage is a massage is a massage. Sure. Unless you can market it in such a way where your facility is more for pain relief. Yeah. It's like, it's a nice facility. It's not really a high-end spa. Right. But they're looking for therapeutic massage. Yeah. Even just from that sense, you're starting to stand out a little bit. Yeah. What I keep trying to get therapists to do is, I have mixed feelings about getting big business and big government more and more involved in our industry.
Well, I mean, and for me personally, the reason that I would love insurance to cover massage for independent facilities is if you could see, let's just say, 50% of your clients, if they knew, if your reimbursement, I mean, obviously you have to go through the hoops already and negotiate, reimbursement with all these insurance companies. But if you had a decent, or not even decent, a fair reimbursement for your time, your investment in your education and your marketing, and you were getting back a fair reimbursement for their sessions, and those people would actually come in more often and, in following a treatment plan that you recommend, because you are capable and knowledgeable and able to do so. If they could follow those treatment plans because financially they could afford it and their insurance would pay for it, I'm all for that. But when it comes down to having to do all the lobbying and just on all that bullshit, I mean, the red tape involved with that is it's just crazy. Like I said, why is it so easy sometimes for me to do an auto accident and it's almost nothing? I could literally submit receipts and it's covered.
But does it depend on the company?
Yeah, it depends on the company and how much paperwork you have to turn in.
Yeah.
But if your clients could come in and do that, and again, you were being fairly reimbursed and they were able to come get the body work that they needed, like, of course, why wouldn't anybody be for that? But it's everything else that's involved with getting it to that point that's where it gets
the problem I have with the insurance thing is the middlemen. They get in the middle, they're taking people's money.
Yeah.
They don't want to pay for it unless the insurance covers it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, what I saw at that chiropractor's office, every day, my work is essentially a backlash to what happened at that office.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had 30 minutes or an hour. Mm-hmm. And the reason you always had 30 minutes or an hour is that was what the insurance would pay for.
Yep, all units, however many units.
They don't want to pay out of pocket. And it was very inexpensive out of pocket. So the thing is, 30 minutes or an hour. And what I wound up feeling like was I was putting a Band-Aid on a tumor every day.
Sure.
Like, I can help these people. That's why my sessions in private practice are 3 hours.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I can get more done.
Yeah. And it does vary greatly. Let's just say, for example, one thing that we have to do if there's an auto accident. So if we get a referral from a chiropractor or a PT or a doctor, there has to be areas designated that you work on. And so if they say, well, you can only work on left T-spine, left cervical spine, and left shoulder, your notes better not show that you worked on their forearm at all. And it's like, really? I mean, we're limiting body work to little tiny segments of the body?
The issue is most of the medical community in Austin, in my opinion, and most of the physical therapists, chiropractors, they're not doing anything close to the sort of manual therapy that you and I are doing.
Of course not. No, absolutely not. Palpation is absent.
The thing is, it's like, it feels like I actually internally get like angry about it because it's like they fundamentally don't understand what we do.
Absolutely.
Because they're not trained on it in school.
No, they're not. They're not trained in prevention. They're trained in fixing afterwards, but also that doesn't include palpation and soft tissue work or manipulation at all. So then you run into, therapists finding things like, for an example, this is probably the highlight of my career. In 10 years of doing massage, I had a client that was hit by a car in the hip, and I was working on her, and I said, I feel like there's fluid in your hip. And she went and saw 7 specialists, all these different doctors, and they said, there's nothing there. And then I'm working on her for a few more months. I said, no, there's something there in your hip. Sure enough, I said, I encouraged her. I said, you ask him to do, not a biopsy, but like a draw. I said, stick a needle in there and tell me there's nothing. I said, I'm the one that's been feeling your glute for months and months now. And sure enough, there was a pocket of liquefaction necrosis, a pocket of dead liquefied tissue in her glute that had that for any reason. I'm sorry, that was really graphic and gross. But
welcome to what we do for a living.
But had she had any other sort of hard trauma there in that burst, she could have gone septic. Yeah. And it's like, but how many doctors had to just barely touch the surface and say that's not there? Yeah. It actually took a needle to get down there to feel what my hands were feeling, and that just blows my mind. It's like, how little training is there, and why is it so hard to get them to recognize what we do?
Well, I mean, what I do is a backlash. Even before I worked at the chiropractor's office, when I had a car accident when I was 22 in Louisiana, to my knowledge, was the last state in the union to make chiropractic legal. There are no chiropractic schools in Louisiana at all. It was quackery. When I went through an accident and actually had someone recommend I go see a chiropractor, I remember talking to a lawyer and he said, do not go see a chiropractor. It will hurt your case. They're quacks.
Yep.
In Louisiana, they're quacks. He's like, I don't care what they're doing elsewhere. And the whole thing was all of the fringe hippie medicine, all the massage, the chiropractic, all that stuff is what made me better. The PTs, the doctors, they're basically like, nothing's wrong with you.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, I hurt. Like, I need medication. I need pain meds, something.
Right.
And they're like, nope, we can't give it to you. You'll get addicted to it. And I'm like, I'm in pain. So basically, it was giving a big finger to the entire medical system and going, I have to go figure it out on my own. Now, 15 years later, I feel like when it comes to soft tissue manipulation, I have figured it out. But I can't get the medical community to understand what I'm doing because they're like, what is this? And I'm like, the future of healthcare in America.
Right.
And they're like, you can't say that. And I'm like, I could say it all day long. It's like, what you don't know about chronic pain and soft tissue manipulation is what I've lived and breathed for 15 years. And the thing is, I can work on a guy, client came in, he's got classic sort of sciatica. I work on him, he reduces by about 2 points on a pain scale. 10's hospital, 0's no pain, he's like at a 7. He'll reduce to a 5, and then he said the next day it came back. He had another appointment scheduled. He canceled that appointment, contacted me a week later and said, hey, I went to a doctor because it didn't improve much. Right. I have a bone spur in my lumbar spine. And I was like, oh, good. Because that means it's not soft tissue. I can't do anything about it. That's exactly what you're supposed to do when the soft tissue component doesn't work. But I see so many people that literally break down crying because I work on them and they tell me they have carpal tunnel and they're like, I don't understand what the hell you just did. And I'm like, it's like, you know what I did? I'm a 40-year-old guy who mashes on people for a living. Right. And the thing is, when you have soft tissue that for some reason will not let go, like I have to tell them, if you took a barbell and did this and just held your arm like this for an hour, how's it going to feel? Yeah. That's basically what I do for a living, is go in and find this, and my whole job is to get you to straighten your arm and let the thing go.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what so many people, obviously, you've experienced this, so many people need that, but it's a lot of it is about education. It's getting them in for the sessions, having conversations like this so that people can actually hear that. Like, hey, hopefully somebody will share this video with somebody that needs to hear it and say, wow, there are actually massage therapists that talk about things like this, that care about things like this. They maybe can do something for you.
It's not uncommon. Like if 10 is the hospital, it's not uncommon. People come in, they're like a 7 or an 8. And I'm like, how long you been at a 7 or 8? And they're like a couple years. Right.
And when you tried everything, why have you been doing this so long?
The thing is, and they wonder why there's an opiate epidemic. And that's where I get angry, because our medical system, no offense, chiropractors, PTs, doctors, you helped create this shit. Right. It's like, because everybody's fighting with the insurance companies and everything else, and people can't get help. Yeah. It's like, do I want massage to be covered by insurance? Yeah. Yes, I'd like an idyllic vision where there's single payer healthcare, totally socialized medicine, where everybody gets exactly what they want, and birds are chirping, and there's no taxes, and whatever. Things. But the thing is, it's like, at the end of the day, I know that I can help people. I know that I can teach. But when that guy wants me to go to New York, I'm like, I can't. Yeah. Like, I'd have to go through an enormous amount of work to be able to go into another state and cross an imaginary line to teach the exact same thing I can teach online for $1. Yeah. 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 If only people were more open to it. Again, it's all about awareness. It's all about teaching people in awareness. You have to make people ask questions, but getting people to ask questions when they could just swallow a pill. That's different. I was a philosophy student. That's dangerous. Yeah, Socrates made people ask questions. And they didn't work out too well for them. Have people ask the hard questions and put in the hard work, because a lot of times getting PT, massage, making the commitment. Sure, maybe a massage is the cost of your 4-week hair appointment, every 4 weeks hair appointment. But, part of that is putting in the hard work. And that's just the commitment to actually making a difference and getting well. But so many people don't want to own up to that and own their wellness. Scott Lindquist is an educator and colleague who's a mod on the Massage Entrepreneurs Group. And he's writing an article about starving healer syndrome. So the massage therapists, they're afraid to make money.
Because
they're afraid to charge for what they do because, well, massage is for everybody and they're supposed to have it, and like they can't build businesses. They can't essentially do the hard work that you've done to create a private practice and then scale into having your own business and then to try to continue to grow because they're starving artists. They're afraid to charge for what they do.
Got it.
Because people need it, and it's like if I charge too much, they can't come see me.
Sure, absolutely, and I do see that, and I think that's a part of, again, well, I guess on the side of the therapist, not asking the hard questions, but having the hard conversations with your clients and saying, what I do is worthwhile. Yeah. What I do is going to make a difference, and you need to make a choice on how you're going to make it happen. Because you can't just give it away to everyone. I mean, there have been plenty of times when I have given it away to people that can't afford it, but that's different, Yeah. But then there are the people that, well, you know what, I'd like to keep my lifestyle the way I have it, but I can't afford this massage. It can't go both ways, not for everyone.
Well, see, it's interesting to me because I have students in the Insiders Club in my subscription service. And I'll hear them talk, and they'll look at what I'm doing, they'll look at the advantages, they'll look at the marketing, and they're like, man, if I do 3-hour sessions, like people aren't going to be able to afford it. And I'm like, yeah, they can. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're going to run a Thai massage jam.
Right.
And they're like, what? And I'm like, listen, Thai massage jam is $5. Like, I'm giving away the same education and the same body work at an open public community event. And the thing is, massage therapists don't take advantage of it. Because the thing is, it's not a CE class. Yeah,
but I mean, I don't know. We're only required to have so many. That to me, it just seems like an excuse. I mean, I feel like
and that's what.
It's just excuses. Because I did the same thing you did. The last person I worked for before working for myself was a chiropractor, and I learned a lot there. But so much of what I learned, I didn't get CEU credits for it. It's like the CEUs; those are your minimum. I mean, really, if you can get those online in 30 minutes, really, because honestly, all those timers don't work. They are not recording 12 hours. But those timers, it's like, all right, if that's all you need to do and you need to blast through 12 hours, go ahead. But don't stop learning and counting everything, all your experiences.
So it's this weird spot where locally, I can teach a class. The class is 3 days long. It costs $400. It includes the workbook and videos that go with class. Mm-hmm. It includes national certification credits. It's $400. 3 days of my time. I can't see clients those days. I'm in that class with those students fighting against their mental obstacles. It's $400. And the therapists are like, it's expensive.
Well, that's dumb.
And I go, okay, the subscription service is $7 a month. And they're like, but I don't get CE credit.
CEUs,
And I'm like, well, go tell the state of Texas to go fuck itself, because they're the ones who made the laws that say that I can't give you hands-on credit for something you learn online. Right. It's like, what do you want from me? And the thing is, in the end, I tell people in the entrepreneurs group, I'm like, you're lazy.
Yeah.
That's what your problem is. Yep. That's the main problem massage therapists have. It's like, listen, I took out, and to be able to do an interview, that's a phone. Mm-hmm. That is a small personal computer that I pressed a button on, and I'm begging independent therapists to educate people, and they're like, I don't like being seen.
Right. Yeah, and
it's like, it's there if you want it. The thing is, how many therapists, like young millennials, like your staff, do you have any younger therapists? Like maybe under 30?
I don't think so.
Not really? Okay.
No, one. We have one.
Do they learn from YouTube videos?
Yes.
And the thing is, I hear this all the time. The older generation of therapists is like, you can't, it has to be hands-on. You can't learn through YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think that's true.
No. You need a group or at least one person that is willing to be your body while you watch the videos.
And the thing is, how many people now learn massage at home from the comfort of their home just watching YouTube videos?
Tons of people.
Tons. And that's the thing. It's like you have a channel on your phone, and the thing is, we still have to have all these conversations about regulation and red tape. And the thing is, the technology itself to transform the industry already exists. Mm-hmm. But it's like I run into these obstacles and hurdles, and the thing is, every time somebody says no, I'm like, well, why?
Yeah.
And they'll say it's expensive, so I give them an option that removes that. And they're like, oh, well, And it's like, no, because it just gets to the point where like you don't want to do anything.
Yeah. People want things handed.
You want an injection that solves all your problems.
Yeah.
And that's called heroin, and that's why we have an opiate epidemic.
That is also part of the problem. Yeah. So I think that too was also one thing I learned when I was working for a chiropractor is type of the different patient types. Yeah. And one of them is the identified patient, someone that identifies with their pain, and they rely on people like you and me, or their chiropractors, or their doctors, or their PTs to tell them to manage their care for them and to manage their approach to wellness for them. Yeah. And if that means someone giving them pills, okay, I'll go ahead and take those. But when it comes to actually doing work, that's a whole nother ball game. Like, no. Like, I can definitely take this pill, but I can't go and do these stability exercises. That's not going to happen.
See, the thing is, if I do the work for you, meaning you're in class with me in person,
right? You're
getting a session with me.
Yeah.
It takes up time. It's high dollar. When I have a subscription service, it's digital. It scales. $7. But the thing is, you have to do something with it.
Yeah.
Like, I can give you the content all day long. The reason I'm not afraid of making YouTube videos or giving away information for free is I know people are lazy as shit. There's only one person out of 1,000 who's going to do anything.
That's really going to do something with it. Yeah.
It's like, how many employees do you have? And I'm not teasing your employees. How many employees do you have that are going to be really successful business owners on their own right?
When they leave me, all of them. I don't know. I mean, no, but it just depends. And honestly, but when it comes to that, I don't necessarily think that it has anything to do with lazy. In some regards, yes, some people. But I think a lot of it's personality type too. I mean, there's that. When it comes to patients and patients taking ownership of their own care, that's another story. But a lot of therapists, some of them love being able to come in and have everything just there for them. But if they say that they want what an independent therapist has and they're not willing to work for it, yes, they're lazy. But some people just enjoy having everything there for them. So it just depends. Yeah. Depends on the person. I don't think they're all lazy.
Brutal. I'm a mean educator.
You are mean.
I like to fire the students. Get out of my class.
Right. Like, are you willing to work for it? I mean,
well, the thing is, when you talk about a personality type, increasingly what's happened in the last year or so is I have therapists coming to me for business advice, and then I realize very quickly they're not having just an economic problem.
Right.
They're having an issue related to personality, psychology, emotions. And the thing is, I think you and I, when you get up in the morning, you start working.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nobody has to get you working.
That's true.
People normally, does your husband spend time trying to get you to stop?
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, that's what I deal with in the opposite way with my wife. My wife is like, Robert, I would also like to have a husband.
Right. Absolutely. Yes.
Not just a successful business owner.
Right.
And the thing is, I don't know what that is in business, like as far as personality, emotional set, about putting in the time and energy to build your own thing. Because it's a different mental state being an entrepreneur, being a small business owner, than it is being an employee.
Absolutely. And I mean, I guess for me, I always kind of felt like the jobs that I had previously, and even, when I was a massage therapist, I felt like I was kind of a dime a dozen. I don't feel like I ever really had anyone that lifted me up or encouraged me to do my own thing. And I mean, honestly, I hope that every person that actually walks through the doors of my business and is employed learns something, whether it's if they learn the type of boss that they don't want to be, unfortunately, or the type that they do want to be, because I mean I've made plenty of mistakes, but if they say, you know what, I'm going to take what I learned from there and learn how to be successful on my own, I would love everyone to be successful, because that means they're taking care of more people, and really that's what it's about. But I don't know what it is too about the personality type. I definitely don't slow down. It's an all day thing for me.
Yeah. No, you just live and breathe it. And the thing is, the person who has the tenacity, the real gumption to be the founder, is not the same thing to carry the torch. It's pass it on to the employees, trying to get them to do things.
Yeah.
So help. So I'll talk to an employee. This is very common. At the time Massage Jam, we'll have a conversation with a massage therapist. They'll complain about the fact that they don't get a tip, or they don't get enough tips, or whatever. And I say, listen, when you go into that place of business, how much marketing have you done for that business?
Right.
And they're like, well, none. That's their job. And I'm like, that's why you get paid what you get paid.
Right.
because it's all on you
Yeah.
to do all the marketing.
Right.
And that's where it's like they think the business is just working on the client. And it's like, no, that's like 20%.
Yeah. And what I always tell my staff, if they're ever having, issues with getting rebooked, say, what tools do I need to give you so that you can operate your own business within my business? I'm not saying like leave and take all my clients. But like, what do you do